अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंह परब्रह्मणे नमः श्री लक्ष्मी हायवदन परब्रह्मणे नमः सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु. So we'll start the class today very soon. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we'll start in a minute. So we were talking in the last class, finishing up with this idea that what is Samādhi, the final state from the perspective of Vishishtadvaita, according to my grandfather, Sampathaiga. A yogi who attains the fourth state of wakeful Samādhi. So think he could be walking, talking, he would be in a wakeful Samādhi. He will become equal to God, Paramam Samyam Upaiti, but he does not become God himself. So equality does not mean identity. And there is a support for this state in Mandukya Upanishad. Niranjanaha Paramam Samyam Upaiti. He attains ultimate similarity to Parabrahman. That's an important verse from Mundaka Upanishad. So in liberation, the Jivatma becomes equal to God, not identical to God. So the essence of this section, that is in the last section we talked about, is God pratibodha viditam means there due to surrender and due to God's grace, only Vijñāna is given to an individual, imparted by God. So without the divine imparting Vijñāna, realization is not possible for the aspirant. And so bliss cannot be obtained. So that's an important point he brought about in the last section. So our nature of jnana is not inherent in our jivatma, and it's not inherent in the intellect. So we ourselves cannot find this bliss or jnana through which we can attain realization. So that is a divine gift, and that is the pratibodha which was indicated in the last class. The new section starts, that is section 3. In this section, the teacher narrates an episode regarding narrating the subordinate deities like Agni, Vayu, and all. And there is hierarchy among the Devatās, and that is clear. And such illustrative episodes are common in the Brahmana sections of the Vedas. In the Vedas, there Brahmana, Samhita, Upanishad, Aranyaka, these are different portions of the Vedas. In the Brahmana sections, there are a number of such episodes involving different Devatās and things like that. These are explanatory illustrations and not mere mythology. So Jaimini, in his Mimamsa Sutras, somewhere between 2.1.1 to 2.1.18, he defines what an Arthavada means. So the Arthavada it is a recognized category of Vedic interpretation. Some portions of the Vedas are Arthavadas. Arthavada means Nidarshanatmaka, Sadrishyatmaka, Vada Saranihi. It shows, Nidarshana means an illustration. Sadrishyatmaka is analogy. So either anything which involves a analogy or a sadrishya or nidarshana illustration is known as a arthavada. Examples, so the thing is communicating information through examples is arthavada, and or analogies or a narrative illustration. So it serves as an explanatory role within teaching. So Vedanta has got 3 different sections. So by the way, this class will be a short class because we are dealing with a simple portion of Kena-Upanishad, not a complicated portion. The Vedanta portion is in the final section. In the 4th section, the Vedanta comes up. In the 3rd section, it is more about a real episode which happened there. So there are, in this, we need to understand how to fit in this information into philosophy. So in philosophy, Vedanta, there are 3 branches. Tattva, the nature of reality. Hita means the discipline. In other words, a religion is a practical way, that is a discipline, right? That is Hita. And Purushartha, the final goal. All 3 together gives you a full scope of Vedanta. And in the Ishavasya Upanishad, the Tattva was explained as Isha, which is the immanent principle which exists in everything, and that is Isha, and it is also synthesis, integrating everything together. So eventually, later on in the Ishavasya Upanishad, the Upasana was explained. The Upasana was explained in 3 stages, Asambhuti, Sambhuti, and Vidya. So, and Vidya with a renunciative procedure means Vidya includes some karma as ananga. This prescribed karma should be done along with Vidya. That was said earlier in the Ishavasya Upanishad. So, what is the goal? The state to be finally realized, that is Purushartha, and it is eternal, and realization of transcendental Atman. The word Atman in the Upanishad in its fullest sense refers to Parabrahman. In the Kena-Upanishad, Atman is introduced as Brahman. It is explained in 2 initial sections. The 3rd section introduces a new mode of teaching. That is an episode of the Yaksha. So, Yaksha is some being which is beyond the comprehension of the Devas. And Devatās, the power and force and knowledge of the Devas are ineffective before this unknown personality known as Yaksha. So the divinity of Yaksha is explained by Umā, Pārvatī, wife of Shiva Rudra. And Devas understand some instructions through Umā. So this whole episode is about Umā teaching the Devatās some new information. And the teaching progressively goes through synthesis, immanence, and transcendence. And some of it was explained in the Ishavasya Upanishad. So the way it starts is, we have already dealt with this while dealing with Shankara Bhashya. So not much is different here. Shankara Bhashya is pretty, clear. Here and there, small, minor, changes, Sampadanga is mentioning. So Brahman was the main person, that is the all-powerful, almighty, who made the Devatās win. So the victory belonged to Devatā, not Devatās, but Brahman. But the Devatās misunderstood the whole thing, that the victory over the Asuras were actually the act of themselves. That is, they were the cause for the defeat of the Asuras. That's what the Devatās thought. So but the victory was fundamentally Brahman's own. They did not realize. and they started becoming proud. Brahman understood that Devatas have totally got it wrong. So Brahman appears in front of the Devas like in the form of Yaksha, something unknown form. And Devatas do not recognize this form. So first Agni was sent to discover who this Yaksha was. Agni accepts the task and goes further. And Yaksha asks, "Who are you?" Agni said, "I am the famous one, Agni, also known as Jataveda." Yaksha says, what is the power you have? What is the vigor you have? And why are you so famous? And then Agni says, whatever exists on earth, I can burn it. And the power of burning anything in the universe. Yaksha places a blade of grass and Agni cannot burn. And Agni is unable to burn the grass and proves that his power is ineffective. Agni returns crestfallen and reports the failure to the Devas. The episode exposes a limit of the delegated power. That is, whatever power was given to the Devatas had a limit. That was clear by this episode. Same things happened to Vayu, who can blow away anything by a powerful storm. Vayu Devata can create, but that also did not work and it failed. Then Indra was sent, and Indra came there and Yaksha disappeared. Yaksha was not there. In place of Yaksha, in the same place, Umā appeared. She came as a wonderfully decked, beautiful woman, and she is identified as Himan, the daughter of Himavan. Identified as Umā, daughter of Himavan. 1 second, please. So her appearance marks a transition in the narrative. Things change. Maybe it goes into the next chapter. Indra approaches Umā, asks her, "Who was this Yaksha?" And this ends the third section. Now, we will stay in this class only up to the third section, because fourth section becomes complicated and we have to go a little bit more detailed. Tomorrow we'll try to cover the fourth section. In the third section, some small items are there to be addressed. What is this word Yaksha means? Yaj Deva Pujayam is the Sanskrit explanation. Deva Pujayam means Yaj is something with respect to worshipping Devatās. So here Yaksha means a venerable, exalted deity. That's what it means. Right? But there may be, Yaksha Gandharvas, Yakshas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, there's a term used in that way. They're all subordinate deities, but this Yaksha is not a subordinate deity. Subordinate deity are described as responsible for maintaining law and order in this universe. But this Yaksha does not belong to this kind of category. Indra is said to be head of all subordinate deities. In that sense, Indra may be higher than the general way the term Yaksha is used sometimes in the Yakshas, Kinnaras, and those kind of texts. But here, Indra doesn't even recognize who this Yaksha is. So this Yaksha does not belong to any subordinate category. And there, the text says, Kena-Upanishad says, Striyam Ajagama. What does Striyam Ajagama means? In Sanskrit, if you say Stri Ajagama, a lady appeared, right? But Striyam Ajagama means, what does Striyam Ajagama means? Striyam Ajagama means objective. That is, Striyam is in the objective sense, just like Ramaha, Ramau, Ramane, Ramam, Ramau, right? Ramam is the second vibhakti. That is the accusative case, objective case. Similarly, Striyam is that object. So Striyam Ajagama, this implies that Indra approached her. She was the object of approach, but the context implies a specific arrangement by the Supreme. Striyam Majagama means God or Brahman sent Pārvatī to instruct Indra. That's what grammatically you understand. That's what he's pointing out. Because the objective case indicates a chain of command. So she did not appear randomly. She was deputed by the Yaksha, the supreme Brahman, appearing as a spirit. Her mission was to instruct Indra properly. And she is described as a venerable deity also. Her nature, that is Parvati's nature. And it also knows that Indra recognizes Pārvatī. The reason being, Pārvatī is Rudra's wife, and Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. These are three deities, right? Three murtis. So, well known for the process of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. So, Uma being the wife of Rudra, who is in charge of dissolution, Indra recognized her. Because Indra needed somebody who can be recognized. If he cannot recognize a person, that person cannot instruct Indra properly, because Indra will get confused. Who is this? Whether I should believe? What should I do? Kind of a thing, right? So Indra was comfortable getting the instruction from Uma. So this validates her role as an appropriate instructor for the king of Devas. So the nature of the episode, realism versus allegory, right? This is not a parable. It is like, parable is something like the parable of, hare and the tortoise. It's about, there is a story which just shows that, that rabbit or hare did not win, though rabbit was faster. The tortoise won the race because tortoise was methodical and never gave up and continuously worked on it. So whatever, that is a parable. So you use a story to say some information. This is not a parable. This is an illustration for Vedanta. And Devatās are not abstract concepts, because the Western thought is Devatās are just personification of, say, wind. Wind is personified as a being. But in the Vedas, there is a being who is a person who can talk, walk, and who can communicate, and who is a Jivatma, but at a higher level. That is the nature of Deva. So Devatās are beings not like us, but superior to us, and they have a different role in this cosmos. So we have to accept the hierarchy of beings, just like the worms, reptiles, bees, birds, cattle, and all these are differentiated by basically a single parameter, a simple parameter, which is the power of understanding. Worms can understand much lower, and human beings can understand a lot more. So human beings stand much more, and above us stand the Devatās. So logically also we can say, beyond, just like how the worms are there, animals are there, human beings are there, there are somebody superior to human beings too. And they are not personification. And Westerners generally, a long time back, in those textbooks, they made these Vedic deities are just powers of nature, which are just personified. They're given just an identity of a male or a female or something like that. That's not right according to what this author is saying there. So those who understand the greatness of yoga recognize the Devatās are real, superior beings, because the yogis can realize them. They are not just metaphors. And even in Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita does not refer to Devatās as just metaphors or personification of energy or forces. He says in the 3rd chapter, 10th verse, Saha Yagnaihi Praja Srishtva. Note the word Yagnaihi. In most of the printed versions of Bhagavad Gita, they have written Saha Yajnaha Praja Srishtva. That is the wrong sentence, wrong, grammatically wrong. It should be Saha Yagnaihi Praja Srishtva, Purovacha Prajapatihi, Anena Prasavishyadhvam, Eshavostvishta Kamadhuke. It says, human beings are created along with the Devatās, and you have to take care of each other. The human being should offer oblations, do yajnas, sacrifices to please or support the Devatās, and the Devatās support you back, giving you different benefits. So Devatās should be respected, and that is very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. So this establishes a reciprocal relationship between human beings and celestial beings who are the Devas. And now what does this mystery of Yaksha mean? Yaksha is also neuter gender. That is a Pullinga, Strilinga, Napumsaka-liṅga. The words are separated. The words in Sanskrit either belong to Pullinga, mainly nouns, Pullinga, Strilinga, or Napumsaka-liṅga. Here, Yaksha is neuter gender. So Agni, Vayu, and Indra could not even recognize this Yaksha. So because Yaksha appeared as a neuter form. And here my grandfather refers to a wonderful verse from Nāma-rūpa in the Pashuram 2.5.10. He says, Aanallan, Pennallan, Allah, Aliyumallan. I would rather read the English translation given in koil.org. What it says is, he is unlike male, that is Parabrahman. Right now in the Kena-Upanishad, Brahman appears as Yaksha, who is neuter, right? Neuter gender. See, what this is saying is, he's unlike male. Oops. One second. He's unlike male. He's unlike female. He's unlike the genderless individuals who do not participate in procreation. He is also unable to be seen using any testimony, pramanas, or tools such as eyes, instruments such as eyes or ears or whatever. Because our eyes can show the difference between a female form and a male form, but this Brahman is cannot be apprehended using our eyes. He does not exist for those who are unfavorable, those who do not care about God. He doesn't even come near or doesn't even show himself. He basically remains non-existent. He exists and he is not void for those who are favorable. For those devotees who desire to see him in any specific form, he assumes those forms to please them. For those others who don't desire to see him at all, he will not manifest his form. So Nāma-rūpa says, while I am explaining about my master who showed his such wonderful nature to me, I feel great difficulty in doing so. Due to these aforementioned reasons, he is beyond what we call as male or female or neuter, and he cannot be apprehended using our indriyas. So that's why it is so difficult for me to explain this Brahman. So this is the idea what Nāma-rūpa says, and this is exactly why Yaksha, who is Brahman, who appeared in front of Indra, or not the other Devatās, could not be understood, could not be recognized by Indra and the other Devatās. Just this is what is a simple meaning which relates to Tiruvāyumozhi is just was cited by my grandfather, so I'm just explaining this. This is it for today because the fourth section starts with details about Adhyatma, Adideva, and all those things. That requires a little bit of a different thought process. So today we stop here. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you don't have, we can stop. So let me know if you have any questions.
Swami, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Swami, it seems like you're saying that the concept of personification of natural forces is what the Westerners referred the Devas as. What is the nuance of accepting that concept? Because if we say that only yogis can see it, there is no objective understanding for anybody that if Devatas exist or not. What is the
See,
nuance of
okay.
accepting?
Okay. See, in one way, you can think about this, right? See, look at how human beings um, behave. So human beings know roughly, just scientifically speaking, the power of nature is very powerful, right? See, even though science has advanced so much, when acres and acres of land are burnt by forest fires, which happen often in some parts of the world, particularly in California and other places, there are so huge forest fires, hundreds of thousands of acres are burnt. Then you know that the power of nature, even though science can predict it, as okay, tomorrow there may be fire, kind of a thing, but we cannot face it. We cannot control fire, nor can we control tornado or powerful storms. So we know there is something which is of higher power. That's the only thing we know scientifically, right? But what this so you one simple way a Westerners or a scientific view can say is these forces are powerful and they're given just a personality like an Agni or Indra or Varuna or some personality. Really speaking, what the my grandfather is explaining is this is the personality is not just personification, but they are real. Then how do you know? Ordinary people can never know this. See, this is where if people knew Mimamsa Shastra, see, this is where we have lost touch of real Shastras. Mimamsa Shastra is the Shastra which connects human beings to Devatās. Right? What is okay? Let me explain to you. What is how do our what is the progression of our greed? Right? Our greed or our wants. We'll not say greed. It's just human wants. I want to live long. I want to I want to own this earth or something. Lots of money, whatever, youth and power and thinking power and whatever it is. We may ask for all this. We may desire all these things. Then we decide beyond it. I want to have not just like 100 years life, thousands of years like a Devatā. I want to become a Devatā. I want to be in heaven. These are extensions of our wants. To know what these extensions are and to really achieve them, there is a clear methodology. And this methodology is given in the Mimamsa Shastra. And that gives the details of yajñas. So that is the function of these yajñas. Right? Who can know Devatās? Who know and who have mastered the art of these yajñas. They can know Devatās. Yogis can know Devatās. So there is a science called the Mimamsa Shastra.
Sorry to interrupt,
don't know
Swami.
that Shastra.
Sorry to interrupt. You mentioned that the wants for higher heavens is why the Shastra provide the way. But don't the desire for the heavens also come from the very Shastras? How, like, does a person naturally know that there exists something called heaven that he wants to go to?
Obviously, only Shastras talk about heaven, right?
Yeah, so the desire also comes from the same source from which the means to get there is coming from.
True. No question. No question. And even the
But
Shastra, the Gita and all says, te tam bhuktva punya lokam vishalam. So the thing is, what it says is, those who spend some time in Swarga will have to come back, because if the bank balance of punyas go away, they are expendable. They are not permanent. They are limited, and they also have fear there of losing something. One can, even we don't, it's not like, somebody can enjoy it for 25,000 years or something. Somebody can get a shapa, a muni or a rishi, if they misbehave, they can curse, and then that devatas can lose their form, their power or their benefit, right?
but
So it
Swami,
is not permanent.
but we are trying to understand whether what the Shastras are saying, are they allegorical stories, or whether are they talking about the real entities, right? This
They
is
are
the
real. No, they're real. They're not allegorical. Swarga, Devatās, all these are real. That's what the real higher level beings. Just like how worms are lower than us, Devatās are higher than us. That's all. Any other question? Very good then. We will continue our class tomorrow at 8 p.m. We will have 1 hour class there. We will stop at 9 p.m. So we'll try to start exactly at 8, and hopefully I will have enough content for tomorrow. There's a lot to cover tomorrow. And anyway, we can finish Kena-Upanishad in maximum 1 or 2 classes. That's a good thing about it. And then we'll figure out what to do next. Okay. We'll think about, we have to do Madhva Bhashya. So that is important. And I'm thinking after Madhva Bhashya, we'll probably think about Bhagavad Gita, to come back to Bhagavad Gita, maybe focus on Bhagavad Gita quickly and stay with it for a while. That's my idea right now. Let's see what we should do later on. Okay. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः परमगुरुभ्यो नमः सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह परब्रह्मणे नमः श्री लक्ष्मी हायवदन परब्रह्मणे नमः सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
नमस्कारं.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कारं कृष्ण.